No, I got no sparkle. Sorry.
That's because we're all taking naps.
I know.
God, fuck you and your nap suggestions.
Time to nap.
God.
You're listening to episode 83, Time to Lean, and here's a song. John and Phil, they have a beverage, and then they talk a little bit, and then they write an original song. Every now and then, they have a special guest, and today's special guest is author Lee Howard and old friend.
I was going to suggest we should do a podcast of like us, the three of us taking an hour-long nap.
Well, it would
say
it would two of us would just be this, constant CPAP machine noise.
Well,
Yeah.
people like that white noise, so we might be able to sell
yes. Maybe there could be some gas or the occasional cough or groan.
Yeah, maybe one of us would have a sneaky bed or something. I don't know.
Yeah, no, there would be something. It would be interesting.
Now take that, sleep baseball.
Yeah, and then like every couple minutes we could like insert like later in the editing process.
Wait a minute.
Insert some sound effect, like some strange
fire truck going by or something.
No, it's a sleep podcast of people sleeping.
Yeah.
Wow,
that's meta.
We're gonna take sleep radio.
Oh,
and take it.
Sleeping radio.
Sleeping radio. We're gonna cut out this middleman concept of a baseball game. Cut right to the sleep.
You and your New Yorker bullshit.
Oh, maybe I'll have a character fall asleep on the Sleep Baseball podcast. So we have a special guest today, which we didn't announce. We just kind of jumped into it. But Matt P likes the cold openings, so that's fine.
It's all about him.
He's our listener, or one of our listeners.
Our listener.
This is
audience of one.
Yes. And we're going to use his full name, I think, because he's an author and he might talk about his books, so he would want his last name. Usually we use the initial.
Matt P is not his full name?
No.
No,
that's his first name, Matt P.
Name.
It's like Joe B, but it's Matt P. That's Lee Howard.
Thank you, Matt.
Okay, well, there we go.
Yeah, and I'm not, just to let you know, I'm not bringing my A game. I'm not bringing my B game. I'm bringing my C- game, which is
not even a C++.
Which is why I'm calling myself Junior High Lee.
Because you got C minuses in junior high.
Yes, but I'm gonna do my best.
That's all we do. We don't ever bring our A game, Lee. There's no air pressure.
Oh no, I don't feel pressure.
There's a lot of air pressure.
No, there's plenty of that.
We have no air pressure.
Speaking of gas,
it's running low.
My left tire's flat.
Well, welcome to the new year.
Oh, here we go.
2023.
2023. I'm still writing my checks with 2021. I don't write checks.
You write checks? You write a lot of checks? Grandpa?
Not only are you in the habit of still writing 2021, you're still in the habit of writing checks, and you can't change that.
That's your mistake. Just don't write checks.
Yes.
I write checks to myself for when I deposit money. And I have a bank. No.
You have a bank?
Phil's Bank.
Oh.
The Bank of Phil. Hunter Bank, maybe. No?
There probably is one, unfortunately.
You just have your own currency.
Phil coin. Yeah.
Yeah, that maybe not.
Oh, fine. Yeah, welcome, Lee. It's been a while.
And we'll edit it so you don't have to.
Yeah, I really will.
No, I'm here to be whatever it is. January is a kind of a shitty month. I think we should all just be able to hibernate through it. I'm a little bit sick, maybe, or recovering from a COVID vaccine shot I got a couple days ago.
Oh, interesting. So I'm
latest, sleep deprived.
The latest boost.
Yeah, and also I'm sleep deprived.
Okay.
So soon after the day after I got the booster, I woke up at 2 a.m. and then I was awake till 10 p.m. that night. And then last night I have a dog housemate who, for some reason, the last couple nights he's come to my room because he wants to go out at 3:30 in the morning in the backyard.
Oh.
I'm not sure why he's coming to me, except that just I'm nice to him, and our relationship has gone up to another level lately. And so I think he's thinking, hey, this Lee guy, instead of waking up my dog mom, I'm going to go get that guy, let her sleep, and then he can take me out at 3:30 in the morning, which normally, wouldn't be so terrible. But
if you
sometimes
could
I have
get back
trouble.
to sleep.
Yeah, I have trouble falling
that's
back
the
to sleep
worst.
sometimes.
Yeah. The 3 o'clock time is kind of peak insomnia.
The witching hour.
That when you just can't get back to sleep.
Yeah.
Oh, I've been
that
having
can
a
be
lot of
many
sleep
times.
problems lately too. I don't, but like you said, Lee, this month it's like after the holidays and in between spring. You just know that spring isn't going to be for a while. It's kind of in the hump of winter or something. I don't know.
Yeah, and we've already been through so much winter to begin with.
Getting a little
year
tired of it.
especially. Yeah. With all the
I'm trying to do. That's why I did that snowshoeing thing. I took a snowshoeing class.
Oh
Yeah,
and
fight back.
I think that's an idea. I think that's an idea. I think you just got to figure out how to still get outside.
Yeah, I mean, I do.
I know
go
you
for,
do. You're
I go for
shoveling.
long walks, and I'm shoveling.
You're also a shoveling enthusiast, aren't you?
You're very much.
I am.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes, I wish I had the. If I were younger, I'd be like I would make it like my seasonal career.
It's kind of hard to break into that.
It.
It's kind of hard to break into that gig at our age.
In your 50s, yeah.
It's not recommended.
Yeah,
no.
and also the I don't want to go back into debt for to go to shoveling school.
Oh yeah, I mean I think it's kind of a
scam.
Not
worth it.
I think it's kind of a scam because they make you buy this special shovel.
It may be,
and you have to take all these classes.
Handles 101. Is that really?
Yeah. Well, here's a question:
you have
where
to make
do you stand
your shovel
on those ergonomic, angled shovel?
Oh,
I hate those fuckers.
Things. I think that's
just
a miss. Never got
just good old fashioned shovel.
I have a shovel that has a weird bend in the handle. That's what you mean, right?
Yeah, it's got this angle.
I think the only thing I like about it is
you supposedly don't have to bend over as far. I think.
Well, I know, but I like to rest it on my shoulder when I'm walking back up the hill in the driveway, and that's a nice bend.
That's the main benefit, though.
Okay. Yeah, if we knew how to use them, maybe.
Maybe.
that might help. But
who
wants to mess with that shit?
I was using it backwards.
Just give it to me straight.
I'm pushing the snow with the handle. What are you drinking, Lee? Kombucha? Oh, junior high, Lee. You're probably having a soda pop.
Just water. Sadly, I don't have any alcohol.
Water clear.
It is clear, but it has ice in it.
Barkeep. How you doing? Yeah, I'll have water on the rocks in the coupe glass.
So
it's still water. It's not bubbly.
Also, alcohol makes me sleepy, so that's probably not what I need right now.
Oh, I get it. Yeah.
You need a Mr. Pibb.
And it makes me less coherent. Yeah, a Mr. Pibb would be nice.
Or is it? It's as it's now called Pibb Extra with the just letter X.
Oh, they still do that? Why did they?
Everything.
I thought that was a trend
during the extreme years.
Yeah, I thought they'd get over that. They never got over
soda
that.
years.
Where everything was that. I think that really got big in the must have been the 90s.
Yeah, but why didn't they get out of that? Just
everything was extreme, and like that's when Surge
Mr.
soda
Pibb
got big.
Surge.
Yeah. And then where do you go from there, though? It's like,
oh, that's it.
How do you get higher than extreme?
It's like the overuse of the word awesome.
Yeah, what's above extreme? Where would you go with that? Lee's a writer. He should know that.
Or these brand names.
Mr. Pibb Armageddon.
like so Apple does these names for their
Dr. Holocaust
computer chips, and they like the first above normal is called, they often call them Pro, right? Okay.
Yeah.
And then with Apple, it doesn't mean it's professional or anything. It just really means it's more expensive. And then, but recently they had to make another one above the one that's called Pro. And well, what do you call it? Well, they called it Ultra.
Oh, Ultra.
And then I think the one above that is called Max or something.
And Ultra Max.
And just like, it's so ridiculous.
Mr. Pibb
And
Ultra Max
somebody
Plus.
else, not Apple, called their product the Max with 2 X's. They just, one X wasn't enough.
Oh man, 3 X's and then it's a little
really
naughty.
Awful branding.
It's really
That's why
gone
they
downhill
gave me the
since
big
Steve
bucks.
Jobs left.
Yeah,
Or
he
died.
wasn't perfect.
Yeah. What was he thinking?
Yeah, what was he? Well, let's see. Phil, what do you got on board?
Well, I got this Old
Kombucha?
Forester. What do you got? What am I drinking? I got
Are you playing?
I got Old Forester, which is my current favorite, the 100 proof. You can get it about $25 nowadays.
Stuff's good bang for your buck.
It's nice. It's got a bang. It's first bottled or whatever. I'm sorry, 100 proof. What am I saying?
That's a little story, right? That they were the first bottled bourbon.
Yeah. Okay.
Whatever. I don't believe
this whiskey is distilled by us only, and we are responsible for its richness and fine quality. Its elegant flavor I forgot my glasses. Is solely due to original fineness developed with penultimate maximum care. There is nothing more ultra in the market. Old Forester Extreme.
It's truly transcendental.
What do you got, John? What do you got on tap?
Okay.
What do you got out of the barrel there?
I have
sniffing the
a
bumhole.
whiskey called Brimstone.
Brimstone.
Yeah, it's made by that Texas distillery. Balcones.
Phil didn't get the opportunity to use his joke that's Italian for balcony. Little did he know that is Italian for balcony.
And I picked this up out over the holiday time when I was in Rapid City. What it is, it's an all corn whiskey, so it's a little
cream of corn
from bourbon, and it's cask strength, so it's very extreme. Well, it's not quite. I don't know, 53%. It's pretty strong. And what's Brimstone about it is that it's a smoked whiskey, and they use Texas scrub oak smoke. They make this stuff.
I've had this before, haven't I?
Maybe.
No, I remember something with Texas scrub smoke.
Oh, could be. I don't know.
Maybe not.
I had not had it prior to getting this particular one.
And the scrub was harvested by George W. Bush.
Just about. It's it is one of the darkest whiskeys in color I have ever seen. It's very and I don't think they're adding any colorant or anything like that to it. Very, but it's smoky. It's got this. I mean, it's really a flavor bomb, but it's kind of one note, kind of sweet and almost it's a very wood smoke. It's not like Scotch smoke where that's really peaty.
Yeah,
where it doesn't have any of that kind of grassy fire or stuff or there's definitely nothing Scotch like about its smoke, but it's got this really sweet kind of almost a root beer and molasses, and then it's got this heavy smoke char kind of thing too.
Can you drone a glass over to me?
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, it might clear you up. But yeah, it's really it's good, and I wouldn't have it all the time, but I needed something extreme after my nap.
Extreme nap.
Yeah, it's terrible. I was doing stuff earlier today. And
John is lying.
I just about mid-afternoon, like, oh shit. this is a Saturday, so fortunately I wasn't working.
Yeah.
And it just like, well, I think I need to just take a nap.
No, I do
and then you guys on email were talking about it, so I'm like, well, that
the peer pressure is pretty difficult to resist.
It really is.
Yeah.
Come on, man, you really want a nap? You know it, man. We all napping.
Know you want it.
You're asleep.
You know you want it.
Yeah.
We're all on the Napster.
We're all going to be there at the same time.
Remember Napster?
I remember. I took a nap on Napster.
Yeah, that's a brand name, Napster.
We could make a new app, a new Napster app where you can like find friends to like nap with at the same time.
See,
and then you can like encourage each other about taking the nap, and then you can report back after the nap and discuss how it went.
And then
it's
and then the nap.
You could everything's gamified now. You could also have medals and little achievements.
Longest nap.
Well, actually, the
sleeping avatar.
The CPAP machines companies do that already.
Yeah, you get a little gold star,
little stars and stuff, and
pat
you on the back if you use your machine a number of hours.
So so this is the nap app. Were you thinking about in real life, like somebody come over and kind of like spoon with you or something, or is this just like a virtual?
That sort of thing I was thinking virtually because just the logistics.
Somebody has invented this.
Like when you're really sleepy, you probably don't want to go travel.
Yeah. So Nap App Plus maybe would be the IRL version.
Nap App Extreme. I think. For extreme napping, it's like not by yourself.
Right.
You have a virtual tribe.
Or maybe they have
it's like
option too.
I mean, this could be like a throwback to our original ancient days where, we all just piled together into the cave.
Yeah.
Formed a pile.
Sure.
And,
like flying squirrels do.
Kept warm and just slept. So it'll be like that, except you don't have to actually go find a cave. It's a virtual cave.
A virtual cave.
An extreme virtual cave.
Well,
the Time to Lean podcast, an extreme virtual cave.
With extra corn.
All corn. Who ever thought of corn? Making things out of corn.
You ever hear
make
people,
whiskey out of it?
People refer to the pandemic time when everybody was home as corn, like quarantine.
No, I thought that was a band. No, that's corn.
No, it's I assume
K-O-R-N.
Q-U-O-R-N.
Corn.
Corn.
I never heard that. See, John keeps me up with what the kids are saying.
Not listening to corn with a K.
Corn? I never heard that.
No, I heard it on a fucking podcast somewhere. I don't know.
Oh, well.
So what are you doing tonight? Oh, I'm gonna do some corn.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be corning. Just corning.
I like to watch corn.
John Cornyn, the politician.
I'm gonna watch some corn. I'm gonna watch other people in quarantine. It's called watching corn.
I'm gonna eat some corn.
That was kind of like everybody doing Zoom calls all the time.
That was corn.
Corning.
Hey man, I remember corn.
Let's get on Zoom and corn.
We never really got out of it though. It's still a pandemic, isn't it? I guess. I don't know. I mean, we're not like totally locked down.
Technically, I don't know what it is.
Well, actually, the federal government has not formally canceled the declaration thing.
Just like they never formally canceled the war on terror.
The war on terror
20 years ago.
Once the government starts something, they just never stop it.
It's true.
Yeah.
I think we're still in the Cold War, and we didn't even know it. They said it ended. The wall fell.
That's true.
We got into maybe it's a different kind of Cold War.
Well, we're kind of doing it again, though.
Yeah, we are.
Ukraine.
Cold War II. Well, the 80s are coming back. It's nostalgia. Let's go against Russia again.
Well, the stuff with Ukraine, it's part of the disintegration. It's another phase of the disintegration of the Soviet Empire.
Exactly.
Really.
And it's
we thought this was all over 20 years ago.
But it wasn't
30 years
Vlad.
ago. It really
Vlad
isn't. Yeah.
It was never over for Vlad.
No, he just couldn't pull out.
I think we had a lot of naive wishful thinking back then. Well, Boris Yeltsin will make everything fine.
Yeah, well, he handpicked Putin.
Yeah, there's a lot of.
So that was a bad.
That
was a the contingencies of history are pretty weird, right? Like, what if he had picked a great guy?
He probably had to pick him, though, Lee.
No, I don't think he did.
No,
he was the president.
But he had something on him. Vlad knew everything. He was in the.
Was Putin still in the former KGB establishment at the time, though? And did he have much power? I don't actually know.
No, I don't think so. I think he sort of. I'm not quite sure. I don't remember the story of why Yeltsin liked him or thought he was a good choice. But he played him, and
he bought him some vodka.
And but he had a vision.
He was good at getting him drunk.
Rebuild the Soviet Union. That's what it's about.
He's crashing his country.
Yeah. Exactly.
And I think also maybe getting some plastic surgery. I'm not sure, but that's what teach their own.
Yeah, and maybe destroying the world. we'll see.
Yeah,
it's
a little loud
plastic surgery for the world.
It's a kind of plastic surgery.
It is
melted plastic surgery.
Melted metal.
So
speaking of drones,
Apocalypse Extreme.
We originally, when we set out to have Lee on the show, we were going to not only talk about his book, which we'll get to, but also we were going to talk about the David Lynch version of Dune, but we didn't watch it.
No.
So I think
we were too busy
Maybe
napping.
we would never do that. Who cares what we think about that? But
we're too busy napping.
Too busy napping. But so we didn't do that, and then I think our fallback was, well, let's talk about the year in review or some shit.
Yeah, I thought of top three. We'd each come with the top three list, and maybe about the last year. But then I got to thinking about it, and I was like, I don't really remember a lot about 2022.
No. So
it could be top three anything.
This is going to be a very squishy category.
Squishy. Top three squishy things. All right, go Lee.
This is where we needed to book Andy to come in and give us a quiz.
Hey.
No, I have my top three things.
Yeah.
Well, good.
Well, we should. I want to talk about what
you're doing a C- thing.
What should we do first, though?
I got to maintain my C-.
So we've had to be on.
Quick, so I'm already ahead of you guys. That's. And you're the pros. What gives? Not extreme guys.
Speaking
of extreme, it kind of took everything out of us to crank out that Christmas episode.
It was a very quick turnaround after the one before for us. So it was. We did it.
It was all just to shock and awe, without the awe part.
Glenda was a little frightened, I think, or something.
Yeah, and I think
why'd you scare Glenda?
Matt called it a Christmas miracle or something.
It was back.
Was this where you had like a bunch of people, or was it the?
No, it's just back-to-back episodes released almost.
The last couple of years, we would talk about holiday things, but the episode would come out like a month after Christmas. And so we'd get some flack for that. And this year, damn it, we're going to show them and release it before.
It did almost kill me, though.
So, and then, of course, we recover from that, and school just started at our colleges.
Yeah, I think you can't win with that, because either you're going to release it not during Christmas, and people will be like, why do I want to think about Christmas?
Exactly.
When it's not Christmas. And then when it's Christmas, it's like, we're always thinking about Christmas now. Why do I have to listen to more Christmas shit? So
and yet people...
It's a no-win. It's a no-win. No, people are going to resent it no matter what.
Probably, if we were smart, we would record one in July and save it. And then just upload it.
I think we should do a Christmas in July special.
Yes. That's what you should do.
That's true. People might like that.
And have skinny Santa can show up and...
Skinny Santa?
Yeah, well, I think he like loses a lot of weight in between, and then his wife, Mrs. Santa, Mrs. Claus, has to bulk him up.
Eat,
Santa, eat.
That's from that Santa Claus is Coming to Town stop motion special. So what that's from?
Well, or Rudolph. He just was kind of depressed, I think.
Well, I think you're combining two of them. So
I like to do that.
The Eat Santa Eat stuff is from Rudolph, I think.
Yeah.
But skinny, he was never skinny. I think the skinny one is when he...
Oh, he was skinny.
What?
It's like Rudolph? his pants. Well, in one of them, I don't know.
Okay.
I don't.
I mean, I'm thinking.
I'm not an extreme Santa stop action fan.
But I'm thinking of the image I've got in my head is the one. It's Santa Claus is Coming to Town, where he looks like a plastic Richard Chamberlain. If you can picture that.
Oh no, I think wasn't that the Jack Frost or something? Was the speaker, the narrator?
That's not Santa Claus is Coming to Town?
No, I don't know. Never mind. I don't know. No, okay, the narrator on Santa Claus. No, that was Jimmy Durante or no.
Well, he sings it, but
no, God damn it, Richard Chamberlain. No, I'm just kidding.
No, he looks like Richard Chamberlain though. He's got kind of reddish hair and.
Oh,
that's the Klondike guy.
Oh, that's Yukon Cornelius.
That's when he was younger. No, there's all kinds of specials.
No. This is Santa. He looks like Richard Chamberlain.
Santa, the son of a bitch. Oh well. Anyway, what are we talking about? Christmas?
Fuck you.
Shit.
Because Christmas kicked your ass because you guys were over podding.
Oh, the pod.
You did pod extreme and you blew your pod wad.
pod wad.
Okay, so
it's like a pod
I
wad.
looked it up. It's it's Santa Claus is coming to town, 1970. It's the same people who made
Mickey
the
Rourke.
And Fred Astaire is the narrator.
Fred Astaire. Yes, thank you.
Wow. God, Mickey Rooney's in it. Who the hell did he play?
He played Santa.
He's more of an elf.
No, he did the Santa voice because it's like,
wow,
you're over here and ho.
Santa Claus. Wow. Okay.
He played Mrs. Claus.
And of course, Burgermeister Burger is the.
Oh, that.
Burgermeister Burger. There'll be no more toys.
That was voiced by Paul Frees. You know who that is. He used to be the big voiceover guy in the old days.
I should look him up.
Was he supposed to be Russian?
It was an Eastern European strange country.
Yeah, he was
Yeah.
There'll be no more toy makers for the king.
Anyway, if you go look at an image of the Santa character, he.
But definitely the commies trying to take our Jesus and Santa
and our toys.
And our
toys. About our loot.
All the toys that we had made in China.
The fruits of our American labor.
So when Lee was on last, he talked about his first, not his first novel, but, and then he wrote a second one to that, the sequel. It's going to be
first in his current series, I believe.
And then he's taking a break from that kind of and doing another thing, and he's just got all kinds of things going on. What's up, man?
That's true.
What's the name of your series?
It's The Walls of Covenant.
Yes.
And Covenant is a city, and it has walls.
Another brick in the walls of
Covenant. That's basically what you need to know.
Soundtrack by Roger Waters.
Roger Waters, yeah.
Yes, I've contacted him about it.
Good.
It might be derivative.
He sent back a whole bunch of just weird kind of political stuff, so I don't.
Yeah, Netanyahu.
I don't know what to think. So I got this fantasy series that's 3 more books I need to finish in that. It's probably gonna take another 10 years to do all that.
But you're faster than the.
But I need a break. I needed a break from that and wanted to do something different that kind of involves more contemporary material. And so I'm working on a science fiction type book that's inspired by Dante's Divine Comedy. And so, like, kind of instead of, so the Divine Comedy is divided up into 3 parts. Like, one part takes place in hell, one part takes place in purgatory, and one part takes place in
Rapid City.
Paradise. Yes, also known as Rapid City.
Oh, that's purgatory at least. It might not be hell, but
I got that wrong. Sorry.
Yeah. So in my story, it's like Mars is kind of the version of hell, and Earth is purgatory, aka Rapid City, and then Venus is heaven, and so that's sort of the basic. I'm following the basic structure that he.
Oh, this sounds
created.
Cool.
I think it is pretty cool. Like I finished the Mars Inferno section, which I'm hoping is going to be at least half of the book. I don't want it to, like Dante has the 3 parts pretty much exactly the same length. And I'm going to try and have the same number of chapters, but not the same length. But the Mars section is pretty gory. It's pretty dark. So I'm glad to be done with that. And hopefully I'll have it finished like this year, by the end of the year.
No shit.
I hope so.
See, I
hope so. We'll see. I mean, it's supposed to be shorter than my other books, so
no.
But it'll be a trilogy, knowing when you get done.
3-part book, or is it 3 books?
It's going to be 1 book.
Okay, with 3 parts. Got it.
Yes, exactly. Yep.
Yeah, Lee, I know you've been very interested in the Divine Comedy. itself for a long time.
Yeah.
It's obviously looms large in our literary culture.
Oh yes.
But what about it? What about it speaks to you?
It's an amazing achievement. I think it's one of the greatest achievements in like human creativity of all time. Like there's nothing that's better than it. And so it's as good as anything. And I think the thing that makes it the potentially the greatest or one of the greatest is just that it includes like just kind of all aspects of reality and human experience and just the whole range, like the whole scale of sort of being from kind of absolute. You kind of have Satan at in literally like the bunghole of the universe, at the, the center of the world, where it's this like absolute cold and absence of love and meaning, and then you have this. You go through this chain, this ladder that rises up and up and up through the levels of hell, through the levels of the mountain of purgatory, through the levels of the spheres of the heavens, until you reach. You escape like Satan is sort of this ultimate materiality and motionlessness and imprisonment, and then you escape into this Empyrean realm that's beyond space and time. And so we go with Dante on this journey from just the absolutely most negative possible, the most absence of good possible, to infinite good. And so it just fills in this whole sort of scheme. So it's really pretty mind-blowing stuff. If I'd lived at the time, I would have been like, hey, this guy basically got it. Like, this is reality. He's told us the way the universe works and why human beings are the way they are and why things are the way they are. And the stuff that he didn't explain and can't explain, he explains why he can't explain it. So he's kind of like saying,
bases,
he's like, well, here's what we can know, and here's why we can't know what we can't know, and this is the setup, and
it's very Rumsfeldian,
and
try known knowns,
and then try to go out and take this knowledge under your wing and try to be good.
And remind me again when this was written.
Like 1300.
Yeah, wow.
Like the early 1300s. So yeah, and really there's a lot of really amazing, just a lot of astonishing things. Like you'd think it would be I mean, there's obviously things that are it's not politically correct. but there's a lot of
you're saying they weren't very woke at the time.
Yeah, they were not very woke in a way, but Dante for his time, I mean, he's a medieval Italian Catholic. Okay, he puts popes in hell.
Well,
so
some probably are. Some probably are.
He was against the system. He was against the man, so to speak, and a major critic of wealth and the corruption of the church, which he compared to the beast from the Book of Revelation.
Wow.
That it had gotten to that point, like it shouldn't have been.
And it did. I mean, he was right.
Yeah, he was kind of right. Yeah, just like Satan. So Satan originally was the most beautiful angel, and now he's become the most disgusting, ugly, pathetic thing in the universe. Frozen, just stuck in the middle of the earth, just a prisoner. So So the idea that we can beings can move up and down this scale, and that's what human beings do. So along his journey through hell and then purgatory and then through the heavens, right? He's meeting all these individual people, often people he knew. Like he's putting people he knew in hell, in purgatory, in heaven. And so you're seeing their different personalities and their, the things that got them there and their qualities. So it just paints this picture of this huge variety of human beings and types of human beings. And sometimes very tragic, like people just making a really bad choice. And then they're screwed.
But they have a chance to redeem.
Not if they're in hell. If you're in purgatory, you get you go through a lot of suffering, but you're going to make it.
Yeah.
It's like you're going to make it to heaven, but you have to be sort of purified and re-educated. It's like a re-education camp.
No, the indoctrination.
Yeah, but if you're in
that
hell,
part especially has been recycled so many times. Well, all of it really, but yeah.
Yeah, but if you're in hell, you're stuck there. But the fun thing is that Dante works in these little, really unexpected, weird things that make you wonder if that's totally true. So, for instance, there was this legend about the Emperor Trajan, who was a Roman emperor, and there was a sculpture or a frieze or something made of him showing. There's a story about him showing compassion for this widow, like a widow of a soldier, maybe. And so a good pope, saw this image and was so moved by it. And Trajan had died. He wasn't a Christian. He died before he had a chance to become a Christian. But he was known as this very just, noble, compassionate sort of person, this great king, this great emperor. And so the Pope prayed. He was so moved by this image that he prayed for Trajan's soul. And Trajan was miraculously resurrected. And he was in hell. He was miraculously resurrected, so he's brought back to life and given the chance to convert to Christianity, and then Dante meets him in heaven.
Wow.
So he's an example of someone that actually was condemned to hell, but got out.
There's some loopholes.
Yeah, I mean, it seems to suggest that, right? So there's lots of things like that where he's like, I think people would assume that it's going to be very doctrinaire and very dogmatic and very, kind of hard lines and kind of cruel and there's a lot of cruelty in it and a lot of dark things. But it seems to me like, Dante's really playing with a lot of these things and suggesting that, implying, you can, I don't know, we don't know what he really thought, but there are all these, there's a lot of things like that where you're just really surprised. That seems to be going against the script of what you expect.
But you have to have that kind of thing or there's no hope, I guess.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you do. And the other big one is, so throughout the first section, the hell section and the purgatory section, he's accompanied by the Roman poet Virgil, who was his hero. It was Dante's literary hero.
Yeah.
And he died before Jesus was even born. So he's in hell, but he gets released from hell temporarily to be Dante's guide through hell and through purgatory. And even though he's condemned, he's in limbo, which is not a bad place to be. It's like, that's where like the virtuous pagans and
they weren't Christian.
No, they weren't Christian, so they can't be. They can't go to heaven, but they live. They're not like they're not tortured. They're not in pain. They just live without hope. Is the line.
Yeah.
But they're all hanging out together. So Virgil's hanging out with Plato and Socrates, and
which sounds like heaven to some people like you, maybe.
Yeah, except they're in the scheme, like the goal of all being is to be reunited with God. So they're comfortable in a sense. They have like a castle and a stream and a green grass and pleasant company, but they are eternally divided from their source and home that they want to return to. Just by nature. They can't escape it. Nobody can escape it, Dante would say. That desire to go back, to be reunited with our source. And so they're, it's the best you can, it's a good hell. If you have to go to hell, that's where you want to go. But what's so interesting is that, Dante says that Virgil lived without sin. And he loves him like a father. He calls him father, maybe more than once. And Virgil refers to him as my son. And, a couple times picks him up and carries him like a little boy. So they have this like really intense friendship connection. That's, more than friendship. It's like a family connection, like a father and son connection. And yet he is denied the final sort of release, the final joy of being reunited with God and getting to see God. But even there, there's a scene late in the purgatorio that maybe could imply that Virgil is eventually going to get saved. I mean, so hopefully you're getting like a taste of kind of like what makes it so interesting and astonishing and weird. It's just weird. This combination of orthodox Catholicism plus just all this bizarre, very original, very counterintuitive stuff.
And some kind of
So
sticking it to them things going
yeah,
on.
oh totally.
Yeah, and so imaginative though.
Yes, and very imaginative, but also like again very orthodox at the same time. So
odd.
It's this very creative and strange and.
Well, the fact that it's within that orthodoxy is one reason it has such staying power. I
Sure.
think, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Like if he would have, yeah, it's part of what gives it its tension and its interest to kind of see how he's operating within that context and how creative he's being within that context and how he kind of seems to subtly undermine it.
And so you've taken that inspiration to make a science fiction.
Yes, which
yeah, sure.
I don't know if it's going to be. I don't know if I could. I can't speak as enthusiastically about what I'm doing as what he did at the moment. But it's a similar. I'm doing a similar sort of thing.
And you wouldn't
where there's
call
this
it an
range
adaptation necessarily.
No. Yeah, no. It's very. It's very different, but it's similar in the sense of just trying to paint a picture of this full range of kind of the worst human suffering with also this sort of idealistic enlightenment possibility at the other end. So that's part of what I'm doing.
Well, and then I guess people that read this, a normal person or whatever, your book or that book, I mean, we think about where do we fall in the spectrum and the choices that we make and have made, and and I think all of us at this point in our lives, we're all in our mid-50s, but I think we all, you kind of look back and say, what if I would have done that? You don't want to live in that realm of the should have dones or would have dones or could have dones, but I know you think it's like a parallel universe. What if I would have done this? I would, would I have done this, or would I have been happier if I would have made this choice instead of that choice? I don't know if that's, but this is like on a cosmic scale, I guess, or whatever. But
yeah, but
I think we can all draw something from that in our own lives. But
totally, and that is what Dante was up to, in large part. That he he has this experience. In the story, like he's a character in his story, and
wait, sorry. So he makes himself a character?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He's in it. Yeah. He says, "I saw this
journey.
This happened to me. Yeah. He himself is a character. Is the main character in the story. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's another thing that seems kind of sacrilegious, right? It's like this guy's telling the story where he's like describing himself as actually going to hell and actually going to purgatory and actually seeing God insofar as God can be seen.
Wow.
It's kind of questionable, right? That's not very orthodox.
And he wasn't thrown in prison?
No, I mean he was in exile. He was a political exile, but for his political activities, not his poetry. But I think the Divine Comedy was sort of forbidden by the church for at least a few decades. But then it was just too popular. But I was gonna say, Phil, that's a huge part, I think, of what he was up to, was to kind of show this range of choices and types of person, and to have us reading it and his contemporaries reading it say, well, wait a minute, what are my choices? What am I doing? Do I want to be one of these people that suddenly at the last moment realizes, oh, I made this horrible mistake and I should have lived my life a different way. I should have lived with, not chasing money, and I should have been, faithful to my spouse and my country and my city and the church. And, I was given this authority as an official of the church or of the state, and I betrayed it for personal gain. So it was, in fact, when he goes into the sky, into the heavens, so he travels through the planets, is the way it's portrayed. He's given a commission by one of his ancestors who was, I think he died on like a crusade. And he says, this is happening so you can go back to Earth and write about it.
Wow.
and tell this story to your fellow human beings. So it's an evangelical sort of tract in that sense. Like he's trying to convey a message to try to save people and try to wake up society, because he felt like Italy and the world had kind of gone off the rails.
So this reminds me a little bit of a time many years ago, Lee, where we played through a video game adaptation of Dante's Inferno.
I don't think we quite finished it though.
No, thank God.
It was like 3 in the morning, and I was like,
I vaguely remember
yes
playing it, and
but it's basically exactly like Dante's Inferno. Yes. He had to swing on
I was just reading
buttresses or something
thing, and his primary weapon is a scythe that can be used in a series of combination attacks and finishing moves.
Yeah, that's basically it.
Many attack combinations and abilities.
There is some action
for souls.
There is a little action.
Yeah,
but not a lot of fighting.
Oh. Yeah, I remember it being. I mean, it was we got kind of a kick out of it, but it was really a slog.
Yeah,
I think you basically just have endless demon fights that you have to do to all these levels of hell you have to go through.
Right.
I've noticed that some games from that time, that this was released in 2010, have been kind of re-released on newer platforms. This was the PlayStation 3. And I noticed this one was not. Not one of the video game classics.
Yeah. Well, if they would have done it truer to the actual story, maybe it would have been more popular.
Yeah, apparently
it is still, people are still interested in, hardly anybody reads the next two sections, the next two canticles or
that's right,
or parts. But people focus on the Inferno because it's the most graphic and gory and dramatic. Even though the other two are also really, really fascinating. And I think the Purgatorio is in some ways the most interesting.
Yeah.
But hardly anybody ever gets past the Inferno.
I wonder if I often I'm fond of this subgenre of movies that is by some critics has been called film blanc. And it's it's a play on words on film noir, and it's the idea of these little class of movies that are talking mostly about heaven and purgatory and things like that. And I wonder how much influence there was there, the way they depict people who are not getting to heaven or stuck or something like that. I think that must have had a lot of influence there.
Yeah. Well, it's influenced a lot of things, I'm guessing. It sounds very... can't even imagine reading that at the time. Although maybe a lot of people didn't. Was it? I mean, they didn't. How widespread was reading this book back then?
I mean, it became pretty popular at the time.
Okay,
but,
cool.
He wrote it. I mean, but there's probably a limited audience because limited literacy and
well, that's why I'm getting into class or something or expensive.
Books were not mass produced. Yeah.
But it became very, and also it was in this Tuscan dialect of Italian. So it wasn't written in Latin. It wasn't written in some language that everybody in Europe, all the educated people in Europe could read.
Right, outside of Italy, it was not.
Yeah, but I mean, eventually it did become.
It would get translated.
Popular. Yeah, and actually, the dialect of Italian that Dante wrote in, like the Divine Comedy was so popular and so successful over time that his dialect of Italian became Italian, became a modern Italian, became the modern kind of Italian language.
Holy shit!
So it had this decisive. Yeah, that's like how powerful an impact he had as a writer, that he sort of helped create the modern form of the language.
So it's in your top 3 books. This is my transition.
Oh, yeah, I suppose. Yeah.
I'm the king of transitions.
Yes.
If you had a top 3 books, what would they be? Maybe you're not prepared for those. I know it's hard to pick a top 3 of. Oh my God, your top 3 books ever?
Oh my top 3
that
you can list the ones you're writing.
Well, it would be like it would be the Divine Comedy, and then James Joyce's Ulysses, and then probably Moby Dick. So I like these big sort of epic angled stories. Yeah, thick
Moby Dick.
Thick epic. Get some thick Moby Dick.
It's totally epic, man.
Well, and that's your books are big. They're thick.
Yeah.
Big,
yeah. No, it's not a coincidence that those are like my three favorite things. They're all very quirky and weird and epic and big and have a strong sort of mythological religious element to them.
Yeah.
So that's sort of my
that's my
bag. Go. That's my bag. It's kind of my curse because that's not really in terms of like trying to get a large readership or move books or get publishers, that's not really the best sort of thing. But it's what I care about. It's what I really enjoy and love doing. And
there's an audience for that, though.
I think so.
Well, I'll anxiously await the Netflix series based on your novels or the video games.
Yes. Yes. The actual books.
Yeah.
Just wait for the Netflix versions or the video games. Yes.
Right. If I'm just saying, I'm somehow,
cool with Ryan Reynolds as Dante.
if you can,
Ryan Reynolds would be good for my Dante character.
There you go.
Well,
better get moving before he's dead.
If you can find a spot for me in the movie, I'll try.
Totally. Oh no, I do have a character. I have to. He's almost. I'm not going to say
play more than one.
I'm not going to say he's based on you, but well, one of the fun things about this story that I'm working on is that with my fantasy series, right, that takes place in this totally other world. So I can't directly use anything I know or actual places and people.
Yeah.
I mean, indirectly I can.
Indirectly, sure.
So, but with the current project, the Earth part of it takes place almost entirely in the Twin Cities. So I'm using places I've lived and that I've been and visited.
Oh, fun!
In the story.
Okay.
And
this sounds really cool.
Yeah, and like I'm not like basing any of the characters like just on like one person.
Yeah.
But there's like pieces of different
amalgamations.
People in there's different pieces of different people in different characters. But the characters are all their own things. So like nobody's literally in the book as themselves. but pieces of them may show up.
Oh. Well, I look forward to.
That's a time-tested move.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Well, that's very exciting.
So top threes, we transitioned. Whether other people are ready or not.
Top three what?
Top three.
Wait a minute. Does what I said count, or do I? Because I have three others.
Yeah, I think it does.
No, he can still use his top three.
2022.
Well,
yeah. Okay, you go again.
If I talk too much,
you're the guest. You can talk more.
Yeah, but plus,
I'm sorry.
That's
that's
true.
Easy
to edit that way.
Yes, you can always edit. So
I'll add myself talking a lot more later.
Actually, that would be really funny.
No, I don't.
It's like it's edited. Like later, it's edited. It's like 90% you talking. And,
I have Final Cut.
And it's like like I'll like say like a sentence, then you interrupt. You're like, well, actually. And then
the
talk for
comedy
5 minutes.
Was actually about.
Yes.
I read it on Wikipedia.
Yeah, I think you were incorrect when you said Virgil was actually not.
Virtue? Is that kind of a play on Virgil? Virtue? No, I don't know.
Probably.
I'm just
probably his name probably means something.
Yeah. Well, and then we don't know Tuscan.
Yeah.
Was that that's a Star Wars thing.
He was Italian, so that's part of
Yeah, that's what they called the Sand People, Phil. The Tusken Raiders.
Oh, that was a reference to
that George Lucas. Can't even come up with his own
because he ate at
words.
the Olive Garden too much or something.
He's like,
if you look at him today, you know he's had unlimited bread baskets, but that's fine.
The never-ending possible.
Also, when you think about it, like, doesn't like Boba Fett sound like a Olive Garden dish?
Boba Fett.
It's like, yeah, feta, like Boba Fett.
Boba Fett. I have an extra Boba Fett with the calzone.
Boba Fett. No, it's
with
Boba
the Tusken Raider sauce.
Chianti.
In Italian, it's Fete.
Yeah, Boba Fett.
Feta, right?
Like the Greek cheese. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's confusing. All right.
Oh my God.
Top three.
Okay.
Top three.
So my top three is the top 3 reasons for why there's still hope.
Oh my!
Which
he should have gone last.
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
Well, you can edit me and put me last.
I don't have time.
Well, of course, that phrase "there's still hope" has a lot of resonance for us. Because we recorded a famous skit.
Famous? Yeah.
Well, I think so. I mean, to us.
Well, yeah, it does loom somewhat large.
It is one of our best ones, sure.
And it's I don't know, somehow representative of our struggles.
Yeah, but
Lee and I were kind of
most of it, but
Lee and I were kind of playing off of we were exaggerating our personalities into the other person or whatever, the other character.
That's true. I forgot that part. But it's like this, the spaceship.
We're kind of making fun of each other.
Yeah, the spaceship runs out of gas in outer space, which is something that happened to me. That's another part of the story, except it wasn't outer space. It was on Earth,
and it was a car. Yeah,
it was a truck. Yeah, it was a pickup truck. And so the spaceship runs out of gas, and the captain is just totally panics. And it's like, we're all gonna die. This is terrible. There's no hope. And then Phil, you're the first officer. I don't remember if we specified whoever.
No, I don't think exactly. Any of us had characters.
We just went into it.
I was the captain, I think, but
sadly, Sean was not on that one.
No, he was. I don't know. Anyway.
That might be a bonus.
What did we use? What did we use for space sound effects?
There was some noises in the background. I don't know if we pre-recorded
kind
something.
Of an ambient sort of thing.
So the story, is just basically that they run out of gas and the
captain
is sure they're going
to computer sounds in the back. Yeah,
thank you. And the captain or whoever I am is like convinced that we're all going to die a painful death and there's no hope. And then Phil's character is like, oh, there's always hope, and keeps coming up with all these far-fetched reasons like how we're going to actually survive.
And then John's character was like a sort of,
and I had to play a really bad version of Spock or Data who would read out whatever the odds supposedly were.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
The chance of being blah blah blah.
Yeah. Of being
10 million to 1 or whatever it was in a very
or the entire crew being able to survive on one box of Oopie Goopie Choco Mocos.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, or discovered by aliens, and
discovered by
or the aliens wouldn't shoot us on sight.
Well, now we don't need to show. We don't need to hear.
And then by the end,
don't play the whole thing.
Lee's
we're
character
about it.
pretty much suggests that we might as well all kill ourselves rather than wait for the end.
I think he does.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert.
We have the laser. We have this. He shoots himself like 50 times with a laser.
Oh, it goes on for like.
That sound effect. I forgot about that.
It goes on for like a minute.
Oh.
It's like a minute.
Okay, that's a lot better than I remember, actually.
It is. It's a really funny idea. And then so after that happens, then suddenly someone realizes that there's an
extra fuel tank. Yeah,
there's an extra fuel tank. There's a backup fuel tank that nobody knew about.
Oh, that's some good dark humor.
Which is what happened to me with my pickup truck.
What happened to you?
I thought I'd run out of gas. Yeah.
What was that in the? What was that zone in South Dakota that we called?
Your novel, like adapting.
Yes.
What was the zone in South Dakota where all the car
Murdo Triangle?
The Murdo
Triangle. Yeah. Is that where you figured out your auxiliary tank? Probably.
No, I didn't figure it out. I had to.
Because you couldn't call somebody.
No, this was
You
the
couldn't call your dad on a
late
cell phone and said,
80s.
flip the switch, Lee. There's an auxiliary tank.
Yes, well, there was a switch, and I thought it was the right switch, but it wasn't. It was some other switch.
Somebody
So I
switched
just,
the switch.
somebody showed it to me or tried to explain it to me. I just wasn't paying attention.
Yeah.
So I walked. Fortunately, I wasn't too far from a gas station, like 2 or 3 miles or something. So I walked back, got gas, and then of course I get home and it's like, oh no, well the switch is down here, kind of under the seat.
You had a whole other tank, Lee.
Yes, I did.
But
But I didn't give up hope. Is the important thing. Stupid,
yeah.
yes.
You didn't
but
shoot yourself.
Hopeless, no. Yes, I did not give up.
You didn't have a gun though, so
no. But I maybe could have thrown myself onto an electric fence. So
electric.
But I did.
But that's a pretty low voltage. I don't know.
Yes, yeah, I know. Probably wouldn't have done it, even with some pokey.
Whoopie goopie chocolate.
All right, so your top 3 reasons for There's Still Hope.
Talk about a sidetrack. Holy shit.
No, it's okay. It's all good.
My top 3 is going to be pretty short. Like, the first thing is just how inspiring it is. Just some of the science stuff that's been happening. Yeah. It just reflects our just curiosity and our just absolute brilliance. Like just how brilliant human beings can be. You know, like the Webb Space Telescope and this Perseverance Mars lander that they
that is amazing.
Landed, on Mars a year or 2 ago.
Perseverance is a good name.
Yeah, it is. And then this Artemis rocket that they shot around the moon here recently, and we're going to be going back to the moon apparently after 50 years.
And they did some kind of a fusion breakthrough.
Yes,
which
that was
potentially very big.
And that was actually my next thing. So I was kind of dividing it up into kind of just a pure science, right? Just curiosity and just our ingenuity in trying to understand the universe, and it's able to do these amazing things. Like how can we land a robot on Mars that's driving.
Oh, that was crazy. All the different steps that needed to be involved that had to happen in the right sequence and the right.
Yeah.
I mean, it was technically. I mean, oh my God.
Yeah.
I can't imagine being on that ops crew.
You're like, how could these things actually work?
And everything has to go in order and on time, and otherwise it's fucked.
Yeah. Yep, or like this, just like one little detail that just really struck me. So with this Webb Space Telescope, the mirrors, the thing's like 18 feet across or something. The system of 16 or 18 mirrors, I forget how many there are. So I don't remember the square footage of the space, but it's coated in gold.
Yeah,
because gold is like it's good for reflecting and gathering infrared light, apparently. And so it's covered in a layer of gold, which isn't too amazing. But what just blows my mind is the amount of gold. Like the layer of gold is so thin. It's only like 50 atoms thick, and it's the same amount of gold that you would find in a wedding ring.
On this whole 18.
On this whole entire giant surface of this telescope.
Wow.
And just like
that's pretty cool.
It's mind-blowing that we're able to do things like that. And so then the other thing was like just technology. Like, so John, you were mentioning this fusion discovery, which is going to take years, maybe even decades. I don't know.
But I think we were all surprised they have made any progress on it.
Yeah, but it's like kind of the
It might not take that long, though.
Yeah, it might. Yeah, it might not take that long.
These things build exponentially, and we got AI, and who knows?
Yeah, and the most important thing is that they apparently have shown that it can work. Like that's the most important thing, because the question before was, well, it would be sure nice if we could just.
It was always this really abstract, concept that
maybe it won't work.
Oh, fusion,
science fiction, Isaac Asimov.
Yeah, it's like maybe it can actually be done. Now we know it can be done. So that is going to be a huge revolution. We're going to have this very cheap powerful energy source.
Can it make good weapons too? That's important.
Sure. I'm sure it can. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's what we really need.
Yeah. It's like
that's what'll make it happen.
So yes, because weapons in the porn industry seem to drive they put all the money into.
Yeah. It's the future.
Advances. Fine.
Weapons in porn. We need a weapons in porn party.
Porn drone.
To disrupt the political system.
Oh, yeah. I'm in.
And also, the artificial intelligence stuff is scary.
Yeah, I was about to make a joke about how ChatGPT is going to write your book for you or something. Yeah.
Oh, it would. No, it's going to happen. Everyone's going to be able to write a novel here pretty soon. There's going to be some sort of like a template.
Yeah, Rob, get busy.
You just put in put in the character names, the basic plot, sounds like Harry Potter, and it'll write a decent. Seriously, it'll probably be able to.
And for songs too, songs is a big thing.
Yep. It's going to be able to write it's going to be able to create songs
and images. Music. It's already doing that now. I'm seeing some of that on the internet. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, but you can also see the flaws in it, like with the images, like it can't figure out fingers. A lot of times the fingers are like really messed up, or there's 6 of them, or like AI. From what I can tell, it's amazing, but it is fucking dumb as a rock. It doesn't actually know anything.
And it draws from everything that's on the internet, kind of. So a lot of that is porn. But if you look back, I mean, Disney couldn't get fingers right either. I mean, Mickey had like 3 fingers.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Disney was an AI.
It was actual intelligence.
Oh.
Creative intelligence, CI.
Yeah.
And our guest Lee Howard is a CI person.
Yeah, but there's, I'm hoping there's going to be some really positive aspects to it as well. Like it's going to be able to solve problems or make discoveries.
Oh, everything's on a spectrum. I mean, it's like
that we can't alone. Yeah.
All of these things create wonderful things and awful things, you know. Yep. So I don't know which will rule out. I don't want to be pessimistic, but it kind of feels like the shitty stuff seems to be more heavily weighted in that area. But whatever.
I mean, it seems like it in some ways, but also I think our sort of environment undervalues the positive.
Yeah, we've talked about that,
and accentuates the negative. It's like we're sort of being told that things are always getting worse.
It's a feedback loop,
and that the good things that have happened in the past somehow don't like really count. Yeah. Even though like the fact that 200 years ago, I mean, there was slavery in this country, and women didn't have the right to vote.
It wasn't that long ago,
and there were no vaccines. I guess there was maybe a smallpox vaccine, but
yeah.
But these are like just huge advances that at the time nobody would have guessed that was even possible. And but now we take it all for granted, and then we complain about how it's not perfect yet, which is it's not perfect, and we do need to do a lot of work on all these things, of course. But we need to acknowledge. It's important to acknowledge the successes. In part because we need to remember that bad things can happen unexpectedly, but a lot of good things can happen unexpectedly too. And we have a track record of this over the last couple hundred years of making just really astonishing progress.
I appreciate your optimism, and I'm doing my best to be optimistic as well.
Yeah, I mean, but to support you, I mean, our luck could run out. That's totally.
There's always
it's totally possible.
Have we crossed some line? I don't know, but okay. So that's your top 3 things to be hopeful for.
Well, my top 3 things were kind of just the pure science stuff, just the excitement of that, and the technology, and the final thing, which don't want to, because we talk about this sort of thing a lot. Don't need to, but just the politics that the Trumpism seems to have crested, and the crazies have dug in, but they're not. It just doesn't seem like they're going to be able to take over the country.
And I think
of a self-sabotage thing.
This past year was a good affirmation that even though it wasn't amazing, but a lot of people rejected that last year.
Yeah. Yes.
It wasn't a total
you know,
a total red wave or whatever.
No, it wasn't. Yeah, it wasn't even close.
And then one of the votes that's holding the Republicans in the House is this George Santos guy who was he's like the what was the name of that Woody Allen movie?
Zelig. Yeah,
he's like the Zelig of the House. He's okay. Now he was also the drag queen.
And
okay,
he's launched 1,000 memes.
Yeah, and so this this Trumpist sort of movement or impulse, like that's the sort of person that it's coming up with. Okay, that person is not going to.
And quite frankly, that Santos still being in the House is more a reflection of the narrow majority and the losses they had.
Sure,
that if they had 10 more votes in there, they would have cut him loose.
Yeah, it's a sign of weakness.
Yeah,
but they
know it
exactly. And then another thing that has just struck me is that most of these people are just con artists. Like they have no real. I don't think they have any real interest in power or doing. They don't want
certainly not service.
Yeah. They have an interest in power.
Yeah, but they don't want the responsibility.
No.
Like I think they would rather kind of be on the outside throwing excrement and not having to perform and not having to actually do any work and not having to have defend results or failure.
And some of these people actually want to bring down the government.
Well, I mean, the bomb throwers. Yeah, but I think that the long term, the biggest tragedy there is that fewer people go into government or politics for the right reasons.
Yeah.
That actually, I mean, it's always been a kind of a self-centered. I mean, you have to be a certain type of person to really want to be in politics.
Though. Yeah, I think but there's been a bit of with after Trump got elected, I think there were a lot of people that came out of the woodwork. More idealistic and more, running for office at the lower levels and but we need more of that, and it is discouraging, right? Like who wants to be a member of Congress, right? It's like it seems
that's like a show.
It really is. Yeah, there are really talented people there too. So
it's purgatory, yeah.
John, do you have?
And a lot of the best people are retiring, and
I will just do a kind of a easy one that I could just come up with since I didn't prepare very well.
Oh, you were taking a nap.
D level work here.
Oh no, I see. We underestimate ourselves. I'm sure it's C-.
Okay. I'll.
This is the C- episode.
Okay, there you go. I'll come up with my top 3 television shows that I saw this past year, which is not terribly exciting. We've even talked about some of them, I think, but ones that I've seen, and I don't know that they're the best ones that came out because there's so much out there. Who the hell knows?
But they're your top 3.
The ones that I kind of stuck in my mind that out of those. So the first one is probably going to be many people's favorite, Severance.
Oh.
I really did enjoy that one. It stuck with me a lot, and I don't know if a season 2 will be any good, but I really enjoyed season 1. Number 2 would be the current Star Trek series, Strange New Worlds.
Yeah.
Not because it's, again, I'm not putting this all on a absolute scale of how great it's written or acted, because there's better in both departments. But as a Star Trek fan, it kind of hit me the right way this time. And the reason for that, and I'm sure if our friend Eric were here, he would have some thoughts on that too. But it kind of it managed to be a new show in that they have people of color and other things like that on there, and modern special effects and all that stuff that we expect. But it also went back to the old series episodic format for the most part. It still has a plot.
And they had some funny episode, the comedy episode.
There is some comedy in there. It's a little lighter. The arc of the season was not the fate of the universe, which I get really tired of in these shows.
Yeah.
And it just had, it had all that. Plus it managed to walk a really good line of, so if you don't know the show very well, it's mainly about the pre-Captain Kirk Enterprise with Captain Pike, who in the original run of the show was played by Jeff Hunter.
And it was like a pilot episode.
In the
it wasn't
pilot,
like, yeah.
And that's that setup is of course, well, we all knew from watching the original series that there was a captain before Kirk, and Spock was on that ship too, and they had a whole bunch of adventures before Kirk came along, so that it seemed like obvious territory to make another show and all that. That's nice to do that. It limits you, of course, but there's a lot of subtle callback to the series that isn't super. They don't go out of their way to place these aspects in there, but there are elements that if you're into the original series and know it well enough, that you'll just kind of go, oh, that's cool, they brought this thing back, or things like that. Like the ship itself looks a lot like the basic, look of it is sort of like the original series look of the ship, but it doesn't look like the 1960s.
No, because the special effects, I don't know, they were getting into a weird.
It's kind of a fusion, honestly.
Yeah,
There's design elements that are like in the elevator turbo lift things. It looks pretty modern, but they have those weird little handles that they would grab in the original series when they, go to the bridge or whatever.
Right.
And those are nice touches, and they don't call it out. Which is nice.
No, it's just, it's not a whole episode about this lever.
Like I do, you totally, you can't miss it. And there are characters like Uhura's in the show, which is kind of a cool touch. You get a lot more about her. And the doctor is this guy named Mbenga, who is played by an African, I believe. But he's a doctor that was in the original series, like 2 different episodes, I think. He just happened to be there. I don't know if Forrest Kelly was out, had a conflict or whatever, but there are a couple of random episodes where there's a different doctor, and they never explain, of course, why he's there or where he came from. But he's the doctor on this show, the main guy.
He's the main
doctor.
He
hasn't come along, and that stuff's really, really cool. He has nothing to do with that, because he is such a non-character on the original series, but they reused his name. And he's a doctor, so why not? Just lots of little things that it doesn't really detract from the show if you don't know it.
So they've kind of hung this entire structure off the pilot.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Exactly.
The pilot,
pilot that didn't even take off, basically.
No, the failed pilot, and not only that, but that one episode where they reused the pilot that's called the Menagerie.
Yeah.
There's elements of that, because there's, Spock has to go and like abduct Pike so he can take him to the planet and all that. And there's a lot of reference to how loyal he is to the years he served with Pike. And so that they build upon that quite a bit.
Oh, weird.
So that's cool. And of course, this show is an offshoot of Star Trek Discovery, because the main lead character that is Spock's half sister or something like that.
Second cousin.
I've enjoyed it so far. It's been one season. They did some cool stuff, and again, it was just nice to have that different. It isn't all just this nonstop Uber plot that just barrels forward every episode.
Yeah, it hit your T spot.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so number 3 would be probably The White Lotus season 2, which I recently finished watching.
I'm writing all these down, John, because I have trouble finding things that I.
Yeah, and
John's
season 1 is worth watching.
I find engrossing.
Season 1 is worth watching too. But season 2, it takes place at this resort in the southern coast of Italy. I actually, it's on Sicily, and it's good.
Not Tuscan.
It's not Tuscan. There's our crossover. Yeah, it's good. Yeah, I thought it was stronger than the first season. F. Murray Abraham's in it.
F. Murray Abraham,
which is fun. He's actually really good.
He was in Star Trek.
Well, we don't talk about that.
As Captain Abraham.
Yeah,
Abraham.
So those were probably my top three. I mean, there was some other. I really enjoyed the Wednesday TV show, the one on Netflix about Wednesday Addams.
I haven't watched that yet.
It was fun. It's very derivative and just kind of jiffy, but I enjoyed it.
I don't know. Let's see. Top TV shows. I'm not big on that.
Top anything. I don't know. Oh, honorable mention for the which actually that came out. No, well, who cares? Was the Dick Cavett? Cavett and Groucho Marx.
That was wonderful.
I really enjoyed that too.
That was
it's a documentary.
Is that American Masters or something?
Yeah. It's a PBS American Masters.
It explores the friendship between Dick Cavett and Groucho Marx, and he kept having. Cool. No, it's yeah.
Yeah, I had no idea that they were. I mean, I knew he had been on the show a lot, but didn't know that they knew each other as well as they did.
Yeah. No, that was a very good show. Yeah.
Really like that. Okay, Phil, what do you got?
I might watch it again. Well, so boy, the shows I watched, I think that I liked the most were Painting with John, with John Laurie, who did the Fishing with John documentary or series or whatever. But it's basically just him, and it's not from. I think it's from 2021, but whatever. It's basically showing him painting, and he talks about his stories, and then he adds different things with it to people that live with him or help with the household or something like that. I'm not quite sure what the relationship is there. And he has his music. He was in the Lounge Lizards and in different solo groups. And in fact, he did a different character called Marvin Pontiac, which is an interesting offshoot of his music. But anyway, I really liked that series. Dora Hetero was an anime. That's my daughter April and I watch anime together, and that was I don't know how to describe it, but basically this guy gets his. There's a world where the wizards live in a different kind of area and the humans live in a different area, and there's these doors that they can cross over into each realm. And at one point this guy loses his head and gets a reptile head, and he's trying to get his head back. I don't know, I'm not describing it very well.
I mean, we've all been there.
Sure. It's very innovative,
emotionally or spiritually or something.
And it's got a sense of humor. It's not a lot of anime is just all violence and screaming and blood, and but this has got a little bit of a sense of humor about it too. I don't know what my third one would be. I kind of went. I did enjoy Stranger Things season 3,
but I also liked this year.
I also liked.
I did see that.
Yeah,
it had its moments. Yeah.
Well,
yeah,
that was something.
I'm good with it now, but yeah, it was good.
Kate Bush is my favorite.
Yeah. Well, that was a big deal for her. Yeah, but I Picard, I watched. That was season 2, I guess.
That was about this time last year, I think, when that came out. So sure.
Sure, I'm a little behind John on the shows, so I don't know what my third one would be, but. I watched a lot of documentaries, but I don't know which one I would pick out of that. But that's where I went. Boy, if we do all of our top threes, this is going to be a 3-hour episode.
Oh, I thought we just would have one.
Oh, we need
I don't
top
have
three top threes. Oh, I didn't explain it very well.
I just thought you were just having a short circuit or something.
No, that's possible. Well, okay. So I'll also talk about my.
I've done two. I mean, my top three books and my top three.
Do you have another top three, John?
No, I don't actually.
I don't think I described this very
I
well.
feel like I'm really behind on current movies, so I don't feel like I'm able to talk to those.
I have another top three.
Yeah.
So my top three podcasts I've been on are this one, the last one we did, and then the next one we do.
Excellent. You better get on that.
Maybe you could be on the Sleep Baseball.
Oh,
I want us
to do the sleep, the nap,
the nap app,
the nap app, the nap app cast.
All right, let's do that.
I was just thinking of video games, but I think I've only played one game in the last year, so that's hard to make a top three.
But you played it 3 times.
No, I think there was just one time through. They take so long.
It's a commitment.
I have a favorite recent albums list. So
excellent.
Now some of these are not from 2022, but that's fine. So Iggy Pop, he's got this new album out called Every Loser, and I'm enjoying that. Not every song. That's the thing that I tried to get back to last year, is actually listening to a whole album. I mean, I don't know. I haven't done that for a while. Probably one of the last ones I listened to a lot of was Iggy Pop's Post Pop Depression. But so he's got this band that comes, and makes the tracks and stuff, and he adds things or whatever. But it's still kind of an Iggy Pop album. That's fine. But he was working with these different groups. And he did another album called Free, which was really interesting. But so Every Loser is good. I want to hear more of new band. I will say new, but in 2022 was Wet Leg. There's 2 gals. They're doing some really fun stuff. They did I think their most popular song recently was Shea Lounge, but they've done some really fun videos, very quirky, and I don't even know how to explain it exactly, but I'm enjoying that. And of course, I saw Adrian Blue live, and I got his most recent album. I think out of, I don't know how many albums he's had, 23, but Elevator, that was a good one. Now, the one I'm looking forward to the most is Peter Gabriel. Now, he's got an album coming out called
The Gabe.
Panopticon, or whatever it's called. But man, he's putting out some videos on his full moon, whatever. I don't know. So, but he's really getting into the explanation of things, and if you're into that kind of heady stuff, and Peter Gabriel, go check that out. But he's got I think the new album is going to be called I.O. And I don't know what that means.
He always has these very short album names.
He's pretty lazy.
But the concept is just crazy when you hear him talk about it. It's really, really wild. But anyway, it's pretty deep. It's maybe not Divine Comedy deep, but it's pretty deep. It's deep for an album.
Yeah, no, that sounds interesting.
Have any of you watched this Yellowstone stuff? Lee, have you?
No.
The Yellowstone or the prequels? Jody and I watched half of Yellowstone, and then she was like, I think I would rather watch the earlier.
So you watched half the first season or half the series?
No, half of the first episode, which was like, the first episode of Yellowstone is like 5 hours. It must have been a double feature or something.
Yeah, but I watched a few episodes.
So, I mean, it was good, but I just couldn't, I just couldn't say, I can't see myself devoting that amount of time. I got what they were getting at already, I think, enough. But anyway, so Jody likes these historical fiction stuff, and she would go back farther in time. So we watched, and I looked online, and they said, well, you don't need to really watch them in order. That's fine. Because Yellowstone is the first one that was produced, but then they had prequels that were made later. So we started watching 1883, which was I like it. I don't know the one.
And that's the one with Harrison Ford in it, right?
No, that's 1923 or something.
Oh, okay. So this is the one with
1883
Sam
is
Elliott?
got
Okay,
Sam
okay.
Elliott.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Well, he's
And I'm
always
sure
fun.
he's going to get killed off pretty soon, and then I'll give up.
Elliott.
Mr. Mustache. I know he'll get killed off pretty soon, and I'll stop watching the show. But for now, it's fine. It's got Tim McGraw. I didn't realize this. I didn't know who the actors were, and Faith Hill. I think they might be married even, but some country music people. But actually, they're really good, and I'm glad I didn't know that when I first started watching it, because maybe I'd be like, Tim McGraw isn't well, but he's good. But they have these weird cameos, like, oh no, we'll have to edit this part out. The guy who did all those movies, and he was in Bosom Buddies, and
Tom Hanks.
Tom Hanks has this cameo. So the Tim McGraw character is there was been a battle in the Civil War, and he's just looking at becomes more he wakes up, I guess, after being everything is in it. It's just everyone's dead and everything's blown up and everything, and Tom Hanks' character comes in and he's from the Union, and Tim McGraw's character is from the non-union and the Confederacy, as you might say. And
like the Teamsters.
And and he sits by him on a log or on a part of a blown up cannon or something. But Tom Hanks, I'm like, why is in a way Tom Hanks was like, he's only in there for like a minute at most. He seems like he's underused, but it was kind of interesting. But the other cameo later is Billy Bob Thornton shows up as a marshal and shoots some people. So I don't know. Jody and I are enjoying that one. The voiceovers get a little heavy, but I'm kind of coming around to it. It's pretty poetic. Talks a lot about freedom and
the land.
Yeah, and the difference between independence and freedom, which I thought was there's some kind of profound things in there, but you kind of like, this is kind of is this hitting you over the head with this, or is it profound? There's a fine line sometimes.
Yeah.
Anyway, so there.
I will also throw one more endorsement out for Only Murders in the Building.
Which season are you on?
That. I'm in the middle of season 2, which I've been enjoying quite a bit.
Yeah, I watched the first one and I liked it.
Yeah, I think it gets better.
I mean the first episode.
Oh, okay, yeah. Well, that's definitely it gets a lot better.
Oh no, I know it will. I know.
They in season 2, I feel like the writing is a little funnier too. Like they use Martin and Short much better. There's some really funny things, and also the show has a surprising amount of sweetness in certain points.
Cool.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it, and lots of interesting cameos too.
Yeah, really they're filming season 3 now, I guess, and Glenn Close is in it. Paul Rudd and.
Well, I was the one that surprised me that I didn't know about was that Shirley MacLaine shows up for an episode.
Oh, fun!
So, yeah, that I've enjoyed that, and it's also one of these well done but still half-hour episode shows, which is not that common.
Well, no, I've got a lot of good shows on my palette.
There are no divine comedies, but they'll get you through the night.
No, yes, they'll.
It's good.
You need a break from the divine comedy.
Oh, that's too much.
Right. Well, Lee, I'll make sure and put a link to one of your things and down in the notes, and
give us some links, man.
Give us some links.
Yeah.
Give us the sausage. Give us the sausage.
I don't know. Peter Gabriel's got a new album coming out, so that's exciting. I don't know if he'll.
That is exciting.
So John and I saw, with our wives at the time, saw Peter Gabriel. That doesn't sound right because sorry. I'm still married to my.
There's something you need to tell us, Phil.
No. I'm still married. I mean, as far as I know, I haven't checked my email for.
Well, that's. Yeah. I thought maybe you had 2 for a while.
Oh, yeah.
Well, Yeah. Well, we got to see Peter Gabriel in Minneapolis there at the.
I forgot that.
Some kind of a
late
what was
90s was that or
oh man,
2000s?
and they had these.
I think it was early aughts, as they say.
Yeah, it was in the 90s, but the sound would just shut down because like Peter Gabriel is like trying to do this stuff that it was still an incredible thing to watch. It was still an incredible thing to watch, but and the blind boys from Alabama were there. Oh my God. But anyway, and he's riding a bike, and he's like a theater in the round kind of thing, and it was crazy. But the sound would shut down, and I was reminded by somebody on Facebook that a friend of a friend that he had promised he would return to the Twin Cities to make up for that, and he never has since. And
I'm
I
not
don't.
sure he's been on tour much since then.
No, I know, but I don't see any tour dates for this area. He usually goes to, some cities he would actually like to visit besides Minneapolis, but that's fine at his level. But who knows? But anyway, I'm looking forward to that album, and
yeah,
he always connects with other artists, and
good for him.
It seems like if you listen to these, he'll talk about the song. And he'll get into the production and stuff like that. He's really getting in deep in some of these things. And he has two mixers. One is doing the light mix, and one is doing the dark mix. So of course I'll probably like that one better, but that's fine. So I guess he's going to have two mixes of each song. I don't know. He's crazy. He's got that bald bass player guy on there. So
Tony Levin, yeah, he's still kicking.
The bald ones are the best.
One of the greats.
I did once.
Runs around the stage with a lab coat on or something like that.
I
gotta get that look going.
Yes. Might be harder for you to run around though, John.
I did say if
get some wheels.
A couple years ago.
Okay, you could wheel. That would be dramatic. Wheeling your bass around.
Yeah, run over people.
Rocking, yeah.
I did
totally jazzing out.
At one point, I said, "John, we'll get a band together, but you have to shave your head." But I don't know.
That was one of the funnier parts when Raphael Warnock got reelected. There was a little Twitter exchange between him and what's his name from New Jersey, Cory Booker. Cory was like, welcome to the Bald Brother Caucus or something.
The BB caucus.
It was good. Yeah.
Don't say BBC nice. Though. That's different. On that note.
Yeah, are we good? We done?
Sure. Are we good?
I need to eat something. I'm getting hunger pangs.
I usually eat at like 4:30 because I take a nap and then I want to eat.
It's a good time to eat.
Are either of you in AARP yet? No.
Are we allowed?
They keep trying, but
it's weird.
It's weird. 55.
You don't even. I don't understand how.
They just let you in no matter your age.
I don't get the criteria, but I'm not retired and I'm not even that old. But I am a member now. I'm very proud of that.
And you are a person.
So you check all the boxes.
I think I checked one of I checked one of them.
I think if that's the minimum.
If you pay the dues, I think they'll let you in.
No, I think that's where it's at. It's $12 a year, folks.
And what do they do for you?
I don't know. I get some emails.
Wow.
Oh, that's great. I get emails.
I think I get discounts too.
I don't feel alone.
And I print them out.
I'm in an association.
All right. Yeah, you get an extra card to demand discounts at cheap restaurants.
I get to yell at people.
Oh,
my hash browns weren't crispy enough.
I do have a short anecdote. So, a few weeks ago, I was at Walgreens picking up some items, and I'm, getting checked out, and the girl behind the counter says, "Would you like the senior discount?"
Never ask that.
That's fine.
I just said no. I said no, but I was like wearing my ball cap, and got this gray in the beard, and she was probably like 17 or 18. To me, to her, I probably looked like I look like an old guy.
We're 80,
but it's like that was a first.
Wow,
that was the first time that's happened to me, or for me. I don't want to be negative about it.
Yeah. I had a weird interaction, and then maybe we'll end on this, and because I have final edit.
I'll have to.
But so this, I don't know who this was. We have people show up at work that usually only work remote, and then every now and then they show up on campus. And this gal came in, and I don't know who she was because she was probably hired during remote time, and I've never seen her in a different unit in our department. She had these floral pants, and I said, "Your pants are fantastic." And she was kind of, Midwesterners don't really know how to take compliments.
Yeah.
And I said something like, "I don't think I could pull those off." And she said, "I think you just did." But I don't. I didn't want to pursue that because I'm at work. But I think it was just that awkward Midwestern thing where I don't think that's what she meant to say.
Yeah. It's like, score. Wow.
An earlier version of me would have kept going with that, but
I need to remember to compliment women more often.
No. Just get in that weird awkward space. That's what I do.
Yeah.
It's a winner. Yeah.
I love your pants. They're
Those
amazing.
pants are fantastic. I don't think I could pull those off.
Your jeans. I don't think I could pull those off.
Ah.
I didn't say it like that.
Wink, wink.
Inflection is everything.
Nudge, nudge.
No, I didn't even mean it like that.
Oh no, I know. We know.
Okay, I hope she knew.
You were actually making a much more sophisticated joke.
I think I could. I might have been reported to HR, but whatever. Well, Lee, thank you.
She should be reported to HR.
Right.
Yeah, it wasn't me. I have witnesses.
Sounds like she's the one that took it to a different.
Yeah, mind in the gutter.
She interpreted it.
No,
you meant.
It was some weird accident. I refuse to believe that's what she meant to say. Because I'm 54 and she was not. Anyway, fine.
Thanks, Mr. Lee.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you.
Lee. This was not a C- episode. This was definitely at least a B-.
Kind of being sleep deprived and maybe a little bit sick can kind of put you into a different zone.
And now
sometimes the zone is good.
We can do a Dante's Inferno song.
Yeah.
Yikes.
No pressure there.
I think I would like a song about the extremity of just everything having to be more extreme.
Yeah, that's also a good.
Like give us a break from the extremity.
Well,
like you were saying about how these science fiction shows where they have to like save the whole fucking universe, right?
Yeah,
everything's just got to be the ultimate thing, and that gets old.
What if we just saved our own little part of one world?
Threat inflation.
Yeah, like save a puppy or.
Well, that wouldn't be very epic.
Save big money at Menards.
I mean, we all love that at this point.
Yeah. It's like
at our age,
something actually believable that we can relate
we're
to.
onto something.
The plausible effect.
And here's the song.
When I look into your eyes, it may come as some surprise. You're the only one I see when you're looking back at me. You're in my top 3 ladies. I hope you appreciate call you by a different name, it's because they sound the same. You really cannot blame if I sometimes err where I lay claim. You're in my top 3 ladies. I hope you appreciate I have a full plate, but I still make time for you. Even though I am unfettered, my love for you is not fair weather. Even though I'm unconstrained, my love for you is still sustained. You're in my top 3 ladies. I hope you appreciate